The Robert Christo. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, tired.
I know. How many masters did you have to do?
Five over the
Five
season, yeah.
over the season. That's not too bad.
Oh,
Sometimes
too
you do
sad.
5 in a whole day.
Yeah. But
But it
these
was,
are high energy masters. A lot
Well,
of people come out and
yeah,
it's
of
really,
course, yeah.
exciting.
yeah, usually packed for
Yes,
Christmas,
yes,
eh?
yes.
So, Father, you know why you're here. We want to talk about Boxing Day. Yesterday was Boxing Day. That was a beautiful interview with
Yes.
the
Oh,
family
yes.
from
Yes,
Poland.
Poland,
And it's so different.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine Trinis, no meat?
Well, they do a kind of fasting, but Christmas Day is more than one day in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Christian world. It's
Yeah.
8 days actually. So
Yes.
it ends on New Year's Day. So
Yes.
every day is Christmas Day for the 8 days.
You mean on
And-
the Feast of the Epiphany?
No, every day for 8 days we celebrate the solemnity of Christmas.
Right.
It's like a solemn day, like Christmas Day. It's doing all Gloria, all the celebration. It's
But
for each
that's in the
days.
church.
Yes.
Because
the liturgy.
Trinis, you know, they switched the carnival already.
Well,
some
well,
people switched the
Christmas Eve
carnival
night,
already.
yes.
But okay, but they really hold it up in Poland. And I remember Poland when I went, it was a very religious country. And of course,
Yes.
Pope John Paul coming from there and Sister Faustina and all the shrines and all of that. But
Deep meaning, I guess,
Very
yeah,
deep
and very
meaning.
traditional.
And very traditional, yes. Good
yes.
morning, Sister Sandra, who went on that trip with us. So we want to talk about Boxing Day.
Yeah.
What is the history of Boxing Day?
It has no religious connotation nor tradition, really. It originated in Britain about
Right.
1847, 147 years ago.
Okay.
So it was really, it's a bank holiday when the masters used to box off gifts for the slaves.
Yes.
So it turned into a day of giving and receiving. So you would box, I saw some boxes, that's why gifts were there. So the day of giving and receiving. In the nautical world, when ships were sailing and they were out there, they would put in the piggy boxes money. And when they landed, if they had a successful day or a trip, they would give it to the priest. He would break it open on Christmas Day and give it to the poor on Boxing
So
Day.
that's where the whole religious side came in because they would give their boxes to the priest.
It's a giving. It's a giving.
Oh,
So what
okay.
really happens is before Christmas, we call the season Advent. And Advent is a time where actually when God becomes a man and God comes to man.
Right.
But after Christmas is when man comes to God.
Man comes to God.
He gives
Explain
back,
that.
he
Yeah.
returns everything. So the whole preparation was
right.
God coming, God bringing.
Yes.
And after Christmas is man giving back to God.
Yes.
So the corporal works of mercy, the poor, and all that stuff started giving back, and the
Yes.
generosity, and the gift giving, and the sharing, and the receiving. So that's very good because if you put it in the spiritual world, you started the spiritual works of mercy. And that is why also on the Boxing Day is a religious day for the church.
Right.
It's St. Stephen's Day.
Well, I was just, when you said it's not really religious, I said, but I read somewhere that it had something to do with St. Stephen.
Yeah, it's just coincidental. Coincidental.
Yes.
Right? The church, in the midst of all this merriment, chose to put martyrdom the next day because that's when St. Stephen died. He was the first Christian martyr that ever died, meaning to say there's a season, but there's a
Yes.
reason for the season.
Yes.
So the side of the wreath,
Yeah.
on the left-hand side is merriment, but the right is thorns, because as soon as you recognize a Christ child and you see his face in the face of God, there'll be opposition and you will refuse to be shaken. He calls you for peace and unity and harmony,
Right.
and not pleasure and profit and possession and prestige.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So there is a bit immediate as a child is born, there's opposition. Herod says, the whole place is troubled.
Yeah.
That's why there's martyrdom. And as you were talking, Poland, Saint John Paul II has canonized most saints in the 20th century because people have to learn now to respond to this Christ child and respond to the values.
Yeah.
And that is why the first day of Christmas is usually the first step to Calvary. And that's why there's martyrdom, and that's why today is resurrection, St. John the Apostle, the church raises, because Christmas Day ends the theology. Now you start giving back and you start recognizing it's a pathway to salvation and there's a promise to divine future. And Christmas Day is not a day.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
a whole,
season.
actually it's a state of mind. It can't be a season.
No,
it's where you never give up on hope, and there's a possibility in the impossibility, and there's life worth living now because there's a divine future he's promised.
So how do you respond then to Christmas Day being like the end of the Christmas season in Trinidad and Tobago and Christmas Eve Carnival starts?
Oh, well, that's really bad.
Let me
because,
hear your take on
no,
that.
that can't be, you know.
Yeah.
The whole season for Christmas, maybe some people can debate it goes until the baptism or maybe the presentation. It's a big season. Christ is born. We
So the
can't even
ba-
celebrate it in one day.
So the Epiphany, which is the 6th, which I grew up knowing as the end of Christmas.
Well, there's a debate out in it. It's either
Okay.
the 6th, it's either the baptism or the presentation.
And those dates would be?
John Paul II says presentation, which is the 2nd of February.
Ooh,
The
that's
baptism
way
is the
into-
13th.
yeah.
You know, so keep your decorations up
Yeah.
because you should have put up the decorations on the last week of
Advent, which
which is about the
Christmas
26th,
Eve, yeah.
the 18th. around
Originally,
there. So we
yes.
start too
Yeah.
early,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why we cut it and get into Carnival.
Yeah.
But it's the season really
But,
starts.
but some people would say, yeah, but Carnival is part of Trinidad and Tobago, so couldn't the two
You
coexist?
could coexist because it's a form of celebration. But you must understand when the Christ child is born, there's a ruction in you, a different kind of carnival ruction,
Yeah.
that you have to respond to peace,
Yeah.
to harmony, to reconciliation, and that's why there's a refusal, there's a fight, and why there's martyrdom.
Yeah.
And you may not have to die from blood martyrdom, dry martyrdom, because
Yeah.
you can be fighting against this culture
Right.
that says there's a different kind of ruction, right? So you have to fight to tell it, the values of the Christ child you brought, the face of God, is being refused.
So
There's
are
a
you
fight.
saying, Father, I have to not go to my fetes?
You can go to
And I
anything
can't
you could do. Everything
do my-
is
you know, I
fine.
like to dance
In
and
moderation,
In
you
moder-
eat
all right,
and
okay,
everything.
all right, okay.
You represent
Okay.
Christ. You are witness of
I hear
Christ.
you. I
That
can
is
live
why
with
he
that.
touched the earth.
Yes.
He made everything sanctified.
Okay.
He made music. He made flesh. He made food.
Because I know you like to say that wherever you are, you can evangelize,
Of
right?
course, whatever you
can-
do is a prayer
whatever
to
you
God.
do is a prayer
You're on
to
morning,
God, yeah.
morning edition, you're praying. You're mopping, you're praying. Yeah, everything you do
Did
is
he
a-
just say? Anyway,
Yes.
I was just pretend I didn't hear. You are now, you mean? The
What?
Now Show.
Now show is
Right,
a
the
prayer.
Now.
I mean, look, everything else.
I don't even know what he just said. The Now Show, Father. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, yes. So what I'm saying is that whatever you do,
morning, Fazil.
mopping, shopping,
Yes.
whatever you do, it's a prayer.
Yeah.
And that's why Christmas is resistant.
Yeah.
And that is why it is a fight, St. Peter's Day. And the more you want is the more you have to give away.
Yeah. Well, Father, you know what? I think this was excellent.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure having
Thank you. It was a
here
pleasure
on
coming.
the Now Morning Show. Right, Father?
Yes,
Say it with me.
yes.
The Now,
The Now, the
Morning.
theological Now.
The Now Morning
Yes.
Show.
It's a prayer now.
It's a now prayer. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Father
thank
Robert
you, thank you.
Christo. Always wonderful to be in your presence.
And a happy, holy, peaceful, blessed, truthful, divine future Christmas.
Thank you so
Amen.
much.